Who will win the Game of Thrones? If this merger goddamn goes through, it will be AT&T because they're, sorry, that was a little obtuse. AT&T is looking to buy Time Warner. Time Warner is a lot of different companies, including CNN, Cartoon Network, HBO, movie studios, Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema. It potentially makes it so that the service provider and the media company is the same company. And that should raise a few red flags.
Yeah. Well, not only that, like I was surprised at this because I didn't think AT&T was doing that well, that they could afford to buy the conglomerate that is Time Warner. But you never know what's going on behind those corporate closed doors.
So this does remind a lot of the Comcast NBC deal, which was also scrutinized by the U.S. government, although it ultimately did go through, if you have watched TV lately. So it stands to reason that this is a big possibility.
Yeah, it's a monopoly. They have the phone, they have the entertainment, they have all of the communication devices, the internet, everything that we're relying on now as a culture. They're going to own all of it, which is scary.
They're trying to, CEOs are trying to say, in particular, it's good because we can give you more options about how different things are delivered. For instance, they're trying to make some kind of opposition to, I think, Sling TV, which is owned by Dish. It would be kind of bits and pieces of cable as opposed to buying an entire cable deal because cord cutters are a problem for the cable companies. I am a cord cutter.
I am too.
I don't have that kind of money to shell on things I don't use and don't watch.
Right, exactly. And anything that I do want to watch, I'll find it myself.
I will find it somehow. I will buy it a la carte, and overall it will be a better deal for me, and I will actually consume it as opposed to letting it, I don't watch any of the sports channels. Why would I buy them?
Yeah. No, and that's I think that's one of the main revenues streams is just live sports. That's where they're hanging on by their teeth, and they're trying to keep everybody in on that.
So it's just, they say, this looks fine for now, but there's so much potential in the future for maybe locking certain groups out of certain services or channels. Maybe the idea that you could raise prices exponentially. You know how it works. It's good for 12 months, and then the price skyrockets, at least as far as ISPs are concerned. So there's so much potential here to do harm to the normal consumer. I don't want this to happen.
Yeah, I don't want it to happen either. And as far as I'm concerned, AT&T is a little bit too big for its britches right now.
Yeah.
Because personally, I've had a terrible experience with AT&T customer service. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Their customer service is why I canceled. Actually, the streaming service itself was superior to my other choice, which is also a disaster. But I had such a problem with them, I had to cancel it.
Back in my day, the internet was accessed through the telephone. You had to dial through the telephone. You couldn't be on the phone and on the internet at the same time. So internet and the phone kind of became synonymous. Now most of it is completely separate, but it's that same company. So we all have it in our mind that internet and phone and I guess cable and now everything else is kind of coming together as like a communications bill.
Well, I think that's another way of how these companies stay alive and thrive and gouge us, this is just another pivot, I suppose, to counter current trends in consuming media, which is that cord cutting is a big deal. On-demand services are a big deal. People are gravitating toward them and are never going to buy that massive basic cable subscription package again. I will never pay for that. Never in my life. That is a promise. And a lot of people are of a similar mindset. And this is another way to capitalize on that and to keep the business viable. But I believe at the expense of the consumer. The reason why the consumer pivoted that way was because this company was a disaster for them. Trying to move away from the disaster moves to you.
Blah!
Yeah.
It's
so
a
if
new
I
age
had
horror movie.
another choice for an ISP, I would 100% take it. But what we have right now is just a dearth of options. I look at other countries in Europe and Asia, and I'm so of all the choices and all the power they get in terms of their services, their connection, their speeds. Everything seems to be superior to our situation, which only gets worsened and muddled by these big telecom companies. This is a prime example of that. However, they do say that there are different advantages for that, blah, blah, blah. Audience. you agree with the telecom companies' reasons why this could be good for the consumer, or do you agree with the opposition? Please let us know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.